you can help your podcast listener by being that beacon, by always staying in front of them, being the squeaky wheel that gets the grease, always supporting them, always adding value to them. And when the time is right, they know you're there and they will come and find you.
Most hosts never achieve the results they hoped for. They're falling short on listenership and monetization, meaning their message isn't being heard and their show ends up costing them money. This podcast was created to help you grow your listenership and make money while you're at it. Get ready to take notes. Here's your host, Adam Adams.
What's up, podcaster? It's your host, Adam Adams. And today we're talking about what it is to be a beacon. And I want you to be a beacon, not a bulldozer. So that's just the thought. And this should be a very quick episode because it's an idea, it's a thought that I want you to be considering. So one of the reasons that you need to start a podcast is you want to be a beacon. One of the reasons to have a show is basically to be the lighthouse. And imagine yourself like, let's just say that there's a ship and the ship could be in danger. Let's make that your listener. Okay. Your listener is a boat and they're in danger. Okay. It's too dark. The waves are bad. They can't see where the rocks are and they're going to crash. They don't know anything. And all of a sudden you got a lighthouse. So be a beacon, not a bulldozer. Think about this. Some people, when they're thinking about trying to have a business, they go and they become a sleazy salesperson. They become somebody who's chasing everybody, somebody who's high pressure, somebody who tries to make people make decisions when that person's not even ready to make a decision. They'll come and twist their arm. I remember I sold door to door, and I remember one of these bulldozers. Okay. He was a manager, and it was a little bit sad to see because he was really manipulative. He was really bossy. He was rude. I thought inappropriate. I went out on sales with him because he sold more than most people. And this was my first year now selling door to door. And so I went and followed him around, and I noticed that people really followed him because he was kind of a dick. Like he was very tall. He had huge, broad shoulders. And so he's a little bit intimidating. And he did really well at being kind and polite. He did that, except when it came to somebody trying to make a decision. He would have the sleaziest way of convincing them that they're saying yes. And then he had also one of the highest cancel rates because people felt so much pressure as he was right there in front of them saying, nope, sign it right here. This is what you're going to do. You're going to sign there. Oh, no, you want an alarm. You're not going to. So we were selling home security. You want an alarm. You don't want your kids to die. So just sign right here and we'll give you all the stuff for free. And so it was frustrating. I'm like, bro, she says she doesn't want it. Like she says she wants to talk to her husband. Or he says he wants to talk to his wife or his husband, or it doesn't even matter. But I'm just thinking about a couple examples where the woman answered the door. She had kids, the young kids were at home. And both times she said she needed to talk to her husband. And he was like, oh, do you need to ask your husband if you can go to the bathroom? Come on, you need the alarm. Just sign here. We'll give you all the stuff. And it worked. It worked a lot of the time. But the hair on my back of my neck was probably standing up, right? Just like when you see a dog who's really angry, where there's a predator coming and they want to protect, then the hairs on their back start to stand up. And I felt like responsible for some of these people because he was being a bulldozer. He was being pushy. He was being a dick, arrogant. He was condescending to people, and he made them sign when they didn't want to. And he had a lot of people that canceled within the 3-day cancellation time. And I never wanted to do that. I mean, I wish that I could have just had a podcast about alarm systems, right? Back then, I should have just had a podcast about alarm systems and had everybody come to me. But think about it like this. The bulldozer goes after the people. And what happens a lot of times when bulldozers are coming after you, I'm sure you've experienced this at least a few times in your life when you're just sitting there and the bulldozer's coming at you. Okay, you've never experienced that? That's fine. Maybe I'm alone, but imagine bulldozer coming at you. What are you going to do? You're going to be scared. You're going to turn around and run. You might just lay there and try to get as small as you possibly can so that you don't get hurt. Well, this is what's happening when you become that pushy, arrogant asshole, that salesperson, that sleazy one. Now, there's good sales and there's bad sales. There's good sales where you support somebody to make a decision that's right for them. And there's just bad sales where you only care about the money. And obviously, he cared about the money. And let's talk about your podcast being a beacon. So go back to that lighthouse. You got that boat. The boat is the listener. You want the listener to go to the right place. You don't go out there and like start screaming at them and say, go that way, you mother effer, or something like. You're not doing that. You're sitting there, shining your light, letting your light shine, and being a beacon, letting people know this is where safety is. This is where you need to go to get to the port. This is where you need to go if you want to be protected. So you can help your podcast listener by being that beacon, by always staying in front of them, being the squeaky wheel that gets the grease, always supporting them, always adding value to them. And when the time is right, they know you're there and they will come and find you. So at the end of today's episode, just be that beacon. Don't be the bulldozer. Have the podcast, have the value, be the place where they come for that right thing, where your perfect avatar comes for the right thing, where that boat comes to dock the ship, instead of that pushy, sleazy salesperson that's being rude and arrogant and only cares about one thing. And it comes down to this: when you become the beacon, you actually will help more people and they will all be grateful. When you're the bulldozer, they all kind of feel sad or depressed or angry at you. They all feel kind of upset with themselves that they couldn't stand up for themselves. And so be that beacon, not the bulldozer. And I'll see you on the next episode. This is serious. Don't go. Now that you've gotten whatever value that you feel that you got, the actionable takeaways, you need to implement the stuff that you learned. If you remember me talking about bird church once, and they learn how to fly, and then they walk home, I don't want you to walk home. I want you to fly home. So take the steps, take the actionable steps for your benefit so that you can become a better podcaster. That's the only thing that I ask of you. And I'll see you for more actionable tips on the very next episode.